You didn't even take your shoes off. No, it was more of all things involved, all variables. Knowing the team that we're going against, knowing short weeks, and what you kind of um, need to be able to orchestrate a victory on those weeks. They're always physical, they're always fast, and you to have. There's always some uncertainty on both sides of the ball, in my opinion, because the bottom line is you are taking a full work week and cutting it in half almost. So any uncertainty with things of that nature, I didn't think was very smart for him to put his best foot forward, and I felt good about what Raheem and Jeff were bringing to the table, so it just didn't seem as prudent. There'll be a lot of guys on short weeks. After short weeks, you're already putting your body through a blender, so there'll be a lot of guys that will be essentially day to day and need all the time to game time. I'll probably be in the same process with Devon, just to I want to be fair to him, and he knows how to play one way. So as he goes, he'll tell me he can play. I already know that, but I'll just be closely evaluating everything he does and making sure that we have a confident version of him, which is what the people want in general. Yeah, I know. There's just I think he's pretty close to being able to start the window. Now it's just a matter of negotiating all the other hoops that are involved in that. So we'll we have plenty of things to kind of filter through from an injury perspective from this past game, and we'll sort that out as the week goes. And I know one thing: he'll be ready to go when his window is activated, because he's hungry to participate for sure. I think so. Just right now, it's a little more cloudy because you have more time. So me about forecasting, I try to take it day by day. So it's almost like you're cloudier now, but I'm pretty confident that will help as guys needed got some much needed rest. We had an active building in terms of rehab and just really player maintenance over the weekend. So guys are being very diligent, and so I expect things to clear up as the week progresses. But right now we are standing in muddy waters, my friend.
I feel like I could ask you about almost everyone on the offensive line.
Do it.
Going
right?
More left or right?
Oh, dude, he's fired up. He's cracked his knuckles.
5 for 1, if I may.
He's going to tweet 3 tweets for every tweet you do. Right? Spelling error erroneous. Yeah, he, it would have been interesting if it would have been a one-score game, what I would have seen from him, because, we're trying to do our due diligence. He has had his fill of watching football, so he's going to be pressing me hard to play this week. I know. For me, I see it as a week-to-week injury, so we're going to have to find a middle ground. But again, these are healthy things that I would much, much rather prefer, as opposed to trying to convince someone that they are capable of playing. So we'll see how that progresses. But as you guys have seen, I wasn't just BSing when I was saying that I was very happy with the depth and how many NFL linemen we have on our football team. I think we've shown that we've been able to operate at a high level with all sorts of various alignments, and that's to the credit of a lot of players and coaches committing to and the personnel department on top of that. So it could shake out a lot of different ways, but that's what fun of December is, right? Oh, that's good. Good observant journalism right there. You're right, and he is a guy that has a strong role within the locker room. He kicked in the door fast and furious when he got here. He has he's emotionally charged in competitive moments to a degree that he can bring along other people. And he knew that it was his time to, he'd been patient, as patient as anybody that we've seen on this team. But now he was going to get the ops, regardless how the game played out. And, that those type of sparks are invaluable down the stretch of a season. When you have guys littered among the roster that instead of sitting there and putting their head down and saying, "Where's my op? Me." Same scenario, just different mindset of, okay, here's my op. Now let me take all that patience and, he's been a great teammate and he's been contributing each and every week in his own way. But when you take all the desire to perform and have it build in a healthy way, then when your op is presented, you can have a tangible, you can make a tangible difference on an NFL Sunday or Friday in this case. So that's a cool part that he exemplifies what I see this team as, is guys in, and it's one of the reasons why I think the sky's the limit for this team as we progress moving forward, is because it's a world of a lot of, there's a lot of independent contractors just in general in the world of, and just in our society. And when you can get a group of people to work together for a common goal that's bigger than themselves, you have a chance of doing some pretty cool stuff. And it's hard on short weeks in divisions on the road, regardless of what the narrative is. It is very hard to win in those scenarios by multiple scores, regardless of what either team's going through. But when you have people like that, when your team is littered with, shots in the arm like Jeff Wilson can provide, you have a chance to do some pretty cool stuff. So he made some very, very important plays. He came out the gate with intent, and against a physical team like the New York Jets are, you have to match and exceed if you want to win. And I thought he did that, and inspired others to do that. I mean, I think each individual person is their journey is unique to themselves. And, I think there's been times that you can objectively say, yeah, that hurts the development, but there's been times that it hasn't. I think Peyton Manning was sacked a ton. Or was it picks? I can't remember. So it's every individual's journey. I think it's important to that, for young players, that doesn't turn to scars, turns to like lessons. And there's, I think, it's a whole orchestration of people that are involved in productive offense. He has been sacked a good amount, but I think he's also making a ton of plays in the pass game. And I think as long as you're making plays, that you don't want that to be the circumstance every year, but you can definitely survive it and continue to progress as a young player if that isn't the only thing that you're remembering. And I think they've made too many plays for it to be one of those scenarios that I think because of all the plays he's made, he's in a situation where it cannot be a scar, but it can be lessons as he progresses with his game. Well, there's a lot less command in Washington when I was there. You know what I mean? So I think it was a different owner, different coaches, pretty much different. I'm not sure who's still there from when I was there. But what I do remember is a very, very passionate fan base that I didn't realize the total scope of history and how big of a region calls themselves Washington Commander fans. But it is Lars that was a interesting part, and it was, I don't know. I remember. You guys know what stink bugs are? There's a lot of stink bugs in Virginia. I didn't know what those were until I was there. Yeah, don't step on them because then they stink. Okay, that's on the top of my mind. There's a lot of history in the area. As a history major, that was really cool, and I think that that I don't know. I feel like it's kind of such a small, or it's a distant version of. It feels like decades ago that I was there relative to what the place looks like now. So I think it would be unfair to draw too many parallels from my time there. That's like, asking Grandpa what did guys hit hard when games were telecast in black and white. Relatively, I guess. I don't know. It's a good place that will that deserves some success, and when they find it, which I'm sure they will, have a ton of confidence and a lot of respect for Coach. I think Coach Ron, as he called it, was the first person when I was a GA, or when I was trying to get a GA job coming out of college. I was writing letters all over the country, and he was one of the first people that actually responded to a letter to try to give me a job. Didn't give me a job, but so I have a lot of respect for him. He's played him in multiple competitive scenarios with Carolina as well. So I'm sure they'll get that place going sooner than later, and hopefully, if we have any say in it, it won't be this week.
Like that.
I think they've spent a lot of time consulting with a lot of different experts in the field, and I think they've narrowed it down to, we'll probably have the exact formula, the exact surgeon and place of surgery here in the next 24 hours. But they've been diligent trying to make sure that they have all the information and all the different directions we can go and do what's most comfortable for Jalen, as well as the best thing for the Miami Dolphins football team. Absolutely, I would love to. This is news to me. So yeah, I would say the skeleton of the story is correct, but there's a couple important caveats. First of all, the perceived threat that I made to a player about was over the top a joke, considering both he and I knew that as a running back coach I had no ability to say if he was there or not. It was more in jest, and then second of all, my wife was telling me that people are talking about me stealing people's girls. The dude had met her for 45 seconds. So, like,
But you called dibs.
I mean, I kind of did, but I mean, no, I mean, it was a lighthearted. It was a very unique scenario. I think of it was a special place in our memories, but I don't think it was. I was, I don't know. I wasn't nearly the. I feel like I was painted out to be kind of a d-bag. And it wasn't like that at all. It was all niceties. We were celebrating as a team, and it was something that I think Stephen Barkley, the player that was dancing with her, was well aware when I made that joke and jest that it was more important to me than it was to him. So, and I'm pretty sure I was right. Right? I mean, I have a family now. Like, good decision.
Won her over?
Clearly. It had nothing to do with anything. It wasn't my physical disposition, I promise you that. But it was a cool, lighthearted story that I felt like took a turn. So I appreciate you following up. Like, yikes.
This
I do. especially after the shape that he was in at the beginning of the day. Like, you want to talk about an absolute warrior that has become such a big fixture in our locker room, and is so important to us winning and losing football games. And he proved it to even be able to be, in his of strong service to us in his mind, to just be able to go and orchestrate his job was just a real. It speaks to him and who he is and how important this thing is to him. So I definitely wouldn't put it past him to be able to play this week. However, there's some obstacles we have to get through, and have to, that's kind of the residuals of having that short game, having that type of issue. So that will clear back up throughout the week. But I'm very optimistic because of who he is.